What's going on, everybody? It is me, Mr. Released, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about something very special to me: marijuana. Now this is going to be a very difficult video for me to make because I love weed as much as the next guy, but probably a lot more than the next guy. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. So what do I mean by weed fixed my anger issues? I've talked about this separately in another video of mine, but I used to be a very rowdy kid. I used to get up to no good. On the daily, I would be up to some mischievous bullshit when I was a little delinquent. And I used to have very, very, very big anger issues. I hated noise. If there was an environment that was way too loud and like I couldn't hear my friends or I couldn't talk, well, I basically just couldn't hear myself because during a lot of points in my life, as I mentioned before too, I didn't have very many friends. So when I couldn't hear myself, then it would get bad because 95% of the time I wouldn't like the fucking food that the shitty ass Eastern European school had served up for fucking lunch. So I would just get really pissed and crash the fuck out. The most common thing I used to do back in the day is stab kids. I've talked about this in a separate video on this channel, but I used to stab kids with pencils when I got pissed. Yeah, that was a fucking point in my life. I also used to bite a lot of kids in kindergarten. I remember that very clearly. So yeah, during those early developmental years, I would always, just be very aggressive for like no reason, and like always not provoke people, but if somebody was being way too loud and it was like being annoying, I would do something about it. I would make them shut up. Which, you know, for somebody that's my size, wasn't a very easy thing to do. But we were all kids, so we were about the same size. So it was very easy for me to launch myself, launch myself at you with a pencil and fucking impale you in the shoulder. But yeah, that's besides the point. Weed came in the end of middle school, and it was the first time where I got to feel like I just calmed down and I couldn't give a fuck about anything else in the world. It was almost like a earplug for my brain. I fucking loved it. I didn't care which fucking morbidly obese classmate of mine was going to pick on me the day after. I was getting lit, and it was magical during those early days. And during those times, I'd say from like the end of sixth grade to the middle of seventh grade, um, I was smoking a lot, and then I quit when eighth grade started. And eighth grade was a very happy period of my life. I just didn't feel the need to smoke. I think I smoked weed like 5 to 6 times when I was on a little trip with one of my friends, but that's besides the point, right? Eighth grade was generally a very happy time for me, right? It was one of the only points in my teenage years where I just felt satisfied. I had a good friend outside of school that was just, messing with me. I had a good friend group in school of genuine people. Well, I thought so. People change. That's not a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just stating the obvious. Alright, good. And now I'm not gonna get death threats. And on top of all of that, I was getting better at graffiti, and I had a girlfriend who had feelings for me. What more could I have wanted, right? And then came ninth grade, where all of that was swiftly taken away with me, and the only friend that I had for the majority of my day was the Benjamin. Um, and oh boy, did the Benjamin take me for a wild ride. And the Benjamin wasn't the worst friend to have. The Benjamin was there when very few people were. Its presence was most definitely felt. But looking back on it, using weed to suppress my emotions at that time also ended up suppressing anger and motivation too. I'm getting very, how do I say this? I get very demotivated when something doesn't go the way I want it to. But I've said to myself that I want to stick with this YouTube shit. I don't care if I have 5 subscribers or 50 or 500 or 1,000. I'm just making this content because I just genuinely have the passion for it right now, and I wanna build a platform and connect with a community of like-minded people. That's straight up it. But using weed to suppress my emotions suppressed anger to a very, very big extent. To in a way, I was a very reactive person before. By reactive, I mean that if you were to insult me in a racial, physical, mental, sexual way, sexual I mean by, haha, look at this retard, he doesn't get pussy, right? He smells like Cheeto dust and his dick probably has a layer of cheese underneath it. Uh, that was oddly specific, but yeah, if you would say some shit like that to me, I would start cooking up a response immediately. I would start fuming. I would be ready, amped up for fucking action, right? Now that's not the case. Now that's very, very much not the case. Um, the case now is that I just don't care. If I don't know you, even if I do know you, that just looks bad on you. Why the fuck are you insulting me if you're like pretending to be my friend? But let's say that either I don't know you or I know you, but I don't like knowing you. In those ways, why the fuck would I get offended from your fucking insult? You know, that would be the stupidest thing I could do in that situation. Because you're saying that thing to me to generate the reaction. This was so true. This was so true. I am so mad that I didn't listen to my parents earlier on this. If you do fucking nothing, they will give up. If your reaction is just, okay bro, that's kinda sad, they will give up immediately. Cause you're not giving them the reaction they want. The reaction they want is you getting pissed and saying some shit back. The worst thing you can do in that situation is say some shit back. Stay silent in those type of situations. But yeah, to finish off this video, I would like to, do an overview of my entire history with weed. And I would like to say, first off, that I think it impacted me in a beneficial way. I wouldn't be the person that I am today for if it wasn't weed coming into my life. At the moment it did, and leaving at the moment it did. And it hasn't left fully, and it probably won't for a big period of time. But if life keeps going the way it is going right now, I have a solid group of friends who, it looks like and it seems like and it probably is the case that they give a shit about me and they care about me and they genuinely like me as a person. And I have somebody that I can make happy and I want them to stay in a relationship with me. If things keep going that way, there will be no place for weed, right? And the biggest negatives that I can, state off rip, it's a giant waste of money. Weed is very expensive. It costs an arm and a leg, right, to maintain a weed habit as heavily as I did, in my years. And the other thing is, it really fucks up your lungs and your like entire throat and everything like that, because you can very much hear it in my voice. I speak very, very fucking monotonely and slow, and it's largely because of that, because my brain has been set to fucking 30 FPS mode for the past 2 years, and I think it's I think it's going to stay like that. I like my voice. It's a lot better than what it was before. Before I used to sound like an Alvin and the Chipmunks type of squeaker, bro. I was a very, very bad squeaker. My voice sounded horrible. One day when I grow up, I'm probably gonna look back at all of these videos and say, man, I used to sound like a retard, and I used to sound like a retard when I made this shit. But it's a natural part of growing up. Back then I didn't like the videos I made, and when I grow up, probably I won't like the videos that I make right now. But the point is, I am very satisfied with, the direction that my life has headed in today, and I generally don't feel the need to smoke in the current point of my life. I just love the feeling way too much to stop. It's the thing that I mentioned in the very start of the video. It makes your brain shut the fuck up. It's an ear plug for your brain, and it does that job magically. But yeah, that's about it for today, or for tonight. Thank you guys for watching this video so much. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm sorry for slowing down on the upload schedule. I've been busy. You could say that. Yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are, and peace.